welcome to another edition of the Verde Valley Experience. I'm your host, Jennifer Cohen. Another great show lined up for you today. We are so lucky. We have so many cool people who live here in the Verde Valley and that they all agreed to be on the show. I'm always so thankful for that when someone agrees to be on the show. So great lineup for you today. The Sedona Railroaders will kick off the holiday season with their 21st annual Christmas Model Train Show. That's already started on will be starting on December 13th and continue through the 28th. Jeff Dunn, who's the Vice President of the Sedona Model Railroaders, is with us in the studio today to give us the 411 on this event, plus info on how you can get involved in this really cool club. Kate Hawks, producing artistic director of the Red Earth Theater, will be on the show to tell us about Verde Valley's own up-and-coming theater company and their production of Joseph Moncure March's The Wild Party, which is running in conjunction with the Made in Clarkdale Art Show. That's going to be December 11th and 12th for shows. Now, they sold out last time they did this, so you want to make sure you get your tickets early. We'll tell you all about that. Mark Round, the organizer for Sedona and the Surrealist Art Show, that's happening in Sedona. Mark is going to be here today to fill us in on Max Ernst, who was the provocative and innovative multimedia artist who, while residing in Sedona in the 1940s, created a vast body of work that is still being displayed in museums today. So that's going to be a really interesting conversation. And then I just want to say, there are people that we encounter in life that influence us and change us both deeply and profoundly, and today I hope to introduce you to one of those people who can do that for you. Heather Noel, the creator of the Giving Game Foundation, is here with her daughter Amelia to tell us all about her amazing transformative work that is available to everyone free of charge. This is really, really cool. And then we'll head over to the Sedona Public Library and chat with Library Director Virginia Volkman. Sedona Public Library received a star rating, and Virginia's going to enlighten us on what that entailed and all the ways that Sedona Public Library is so much more than just a place to go and take out a book. And there is so much going on there, and we'll touch on that while we're at the library. And we'll close out our show today with jazz musician Monica Shriver. She has the most diverse and creative professional career, performing in big bands, jazz combos, pit orchestras, rock bands, chamber ensembles. She plays all sorts of wind instruments. She's going to be here with the jazz saxophone today. Monica also happens to be one of the talented musicians who will be playing for the Wild Party production. So you see how this all ties in? Yeah, it's going to be a good show, so make sure you stick around. And if you miss anything at any time, you know you can check out our website, verdevalleytv.com/experience, and you're going to see it all over again, that and YouTube too. So don't worry, if you miss something, you can see it over and over again if you want. And we're going to get started. Today we have with us Jeff Dunn, who is the Vice President of the Sedona Model Railroaders. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me.
Sounds like you've got such a great club.
Well, it's small and on the aged side, but we do have a lot of fun. We meet once a month for breakfast and talk about trains and things, and we have these shows. We always have the last 2 weeks of December. We have a model train show, usually in some donated space, and we've had them in the village in the past, and recently we've moved back into Sedona proper.
Nice.
And we also do a smaller show for a week at the Sedona Public Library, which you just mentioned. And so those are our two main events.
Yeah, really a big deal too. This model train show is really, really huge. You guys create this wonderful setup of all these great trains, and you can see everyone's face light up. I love it. You mentioned aged side. That doesn't matter. You set out a model train, everybody's 8 years old. And it's an amazing Christmas time tradition for most folks. I mean, you guys are on your 21st annual, if we're getting that right, the 21st annual event here. This is a really big deal.
Well, I've only been involved since 2001, but I've been involved in all the shows since then. And my layout has gotten a little bit bigger over the years, which is nice. So it's pretty good size now, and I actually have two layouts in the show. One is known as an S gauge, and that's a little bigger model. It's the old American Flyer size layout. And then I have another HO layout, which is smaller. And then we have one of our members has a G scale layout, and G is the kind people put out in their yards. You see, it's called, the G stands for garden. They're much bigger.
Right.
He has that. And then we have another layout of this called standard gauge, which was the most popular size, fairly good size, almost the same as G. Before World War I, all the trains were standard, and then after the war, when they went back into production, they made them smaller, and they came out with S gauge and O gauge. So we have that, and we also have an O gauge. So we have most of the sizes represented.
Wow, that's amazing. And where are you guys going to be holding it this year?
We are in the Basha Shopping Center in West Sedona in the northeast corner. There's a donated space that we use for the month of December. 2 weeks to set up, 2 weeks to display.
Wow, 2 weeks to set up. That's amazing. Quite a lot of work goes into making anything. Model train and railroad. You see all the little miniature trees and the little puppy dogs at the water fountain. It's just an amazing display. And guess what? It's free to the public. I mean, hey, another wonderful Verde Valley holiday thing you can do that is free to the public. And tell us about the fact that you can bring your own trains, is that correct?
If somebody has an old, a lot of times people come in and say, I've got this train I had when I was a kid, it's been sitting in the attic for years. I don't know if it still runs. Be happy to try it out on our tracks. If people want to bring things in, we can test them out, see if, and if they don't, we can usually give them advice on how they, if they can be repaired and how to do it. So
wow, that's
we've done that. I've actually repaired some old engines that people have brought in that didn't work, and I took them home, fixed them, and give them back to them. So.
Wow, you can tell you're really passionate about trains.
Well, I started my first model train in 1948, and
Wow.
it's been all ups and from then.
Yeah.
I also enjoy real trains too. I'm a steam engine buff, and I spend a week in New Mexico every summer at the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad working on that. I'm usually the docent in the car with the microphone telling people what they're seeing, but I've also served as a fireman on the engine.
Wow.
That was a lot of fun. So
I bet. And I heard you were shoveling coal.
shoveling coal, right?
That has to be fun.
So yeah. No,
The
I
one
love
time you
trains.
want to shovel coal is when you're on a steam engine and you can shovel it, and that's just really cool. The rest of the time, forget it. That is truly awesome. I love your vest with your patches and your hat with your pins.
This is our club vest. Most of the members have a vest like that.
Wow.
We have our logo on the back, which you can't see, and
Right.
we like to wear engineer-type hats. You know.
Yeah, that's great. How many members do you think you have now?
We have about 20, 22, somewhere in there. you know.
Nice. That's very nice.
We're always looking for people. We do have our meetings. We always meet the second Saturday of the month in Miley's Cafe at 8:30 in the Village. So
right.
if anybody's interested in joining, they can come in for a breakfast. Or at the show, we'll have some membership applications available for people to come in and be interested in joining the club. We'd like to get more kids involved. I think the youngest person in the club is like 58.
Oh, goodness. So is there an age parameter? Do you have to be a certain age?
I mean, in order to really handle trains, you have to probably be at least 7 or 8 years old, but beyond that, doesn't matter.
Wow, that's amazing. And a wonderful Facebook page that you guys have. It's got lots of great information on there. I mean, your club's been around since 1977. That's pretty impressive. It's changed names once, but it's been going strong ever since. And that's just a great thing that you have an outlet for this wonderful passion. It's not just a hobby, it's a passion when it comes to model railroading. It's not that simple.
Well, we were grateful to the Sedona Chamber. In the past, we've had our shows in the Village, and last year, Jennifer from the Sedona Chamber contacted me and said if she would like us to be part of Holiday Central Celebration in Sedona.
Nice.
So we decided to come in, and it was very successful. We had more people than we had in a long time because they helped publicize it, which we didn't. They had us in their calendar on their website. They had articles in the Arizona Republic and all the newspapers, and so that really helped. We had a lot of people come. So
great.
We're back again this year.
That's awesome, and thank you so much for that. Okay, so the Sedona Model Railroaders is going to have their wonderful display over there in Bashas'. It's going to start December 13th and go on until December 28th. It's open from 11 to 4, and it will be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, though, so you got to get there before then. And it's free to the public. Lots of information on the Facebook page for that, Sedona Model Railroaders Facebook page. Check out what you need to join the club. Jeff Dunn, Vice President, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Thanks for inviting me.
And we'll be right back, so don't go away.
When the city lights fade, our lights get brighter. When your night needs life, ours comes alive. When you want to do something different? We say, come out and play. Come experience the new Mountain Springs Buffet. All you can eat starting at just $7.
Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, voted #1 casino in Arizona 15 years in a row.
At Gettle's High Desert Mechanical, rather than do lots of things, we focus on doing one thing right. We serve climate-challenged people. Gettle's starts with a free system evaluation to identify the best AC and heating equipment for your home or business. Professional installation, warranties, and service after the sale. If you're climate challenged, then we're the right choice. Gettle's High Desert Mechanical, the name to trust.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. I'm here now with Kate Hawks, who is the producing artistic director for the Red Earth Theater, which is absolutely awesome. If you haven't seen these guys yet, just you wait. Really awesome group you've got going.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, lots of talent.
Well, there's a lot of talent here in this valley. And, you know, the thing about the Red Earth Theater, and I make this very clear, we may be sort of based in Sedona, but we actually serve the whole Verde Valley, and we draw on performers from Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Sedona, and halfway up the canyon at the Butterfly Inn.
Yes, yeah.
So I encourage people to think of us as being the theater for the Verde Valley.
Yes, absolutely. Now tell us a little bit, how did you get started with Red Earth? I know you have only been around a couple of years now.
Not even that.
Yeah. You're pretty new.
We're very new. Well, my background is in theater, and it has been forever and for years. And I moved here from Portland, Oregon in 2008, and had declared I was just not going to do theater anymore. I was so tired and exhausted. But it's truly a virus that you have.
Yeah.
Once you've got it, you've got it.
Yep.
And I had been doing some work in Prescott, and I had directed a reading, and a bunch of actresses, we'd gone over and done a reading of the play, and we came back. And literally, in June of 2013, we literally sat in someone's house and said, let's start a theater. We felt like 5-year-olds, you know. And so that's what we did. So in June 2013, we came up with the idea. We incorporated in September of 2013.
Congratulations.
And we did our first show that year, Crushes and Bouquets, the wine show.
Which was wonderful.
It was,
I
thank you.
loved it. That was so great. It's so innovative.
Yes, it was very fun.
Yeah.
And so we did that both in Sedona and in Cottonwood. And then we have just kept going.
Yes, you have.
From there.
Yes, you have. You've done quite a bit. And so the great thing is that you are serving the Verde Valley. So you last did the Wild Party in Sedona, but now you've brought it to Clarkdale.
Made in Clarkdale. Yes, because the very first full-length show we did was Painting Churches, which we did for Made in Clarkdale. So they gave us our first big break.
Oh, nice.
They let us bring a whole show in. And then we did that show in several places. And then we have done various other things. But the Wild Party we did for the Sedona Jazz Fest in April. And it was sold out. We couldn't shoehorn people in.
Yeah.
And so it made sense to do it Made at Clarkdale. I say to people, we call it a gritty adults night. Adults, what is it? Date night.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. It's sort of a date night show. Don't
true.
bring your children and your granny.
Definitely don't bring the children.
It's also, I think, a nice antidote to all the cloying sweetness of Christmas.
Yeah,
if
there
you just
you
want to
go.
go somewhere and sort of be a little bit dark and gingy.
A little human. Yeah, for sure. And the Wild Party is based on a book-length poem that was written by Joseph Moncure March in the 20s. And when it was published in 1928, it was immediately banned. Okay, that's why it's the Wild Party. So it's very interesting. Now, granted, it's nothing new. It's nothing that we haven't seen before. But back in the 20s, this was like, holy cow. And now it's still ever so provocative.
It is. And when we first started doing it, I mean, first of all, it is a narrative poem. It is written as a poem. And the the piece is often done with one narrator and musicians playing. Sometimes it's done with a couple of actors reading it. It has been turned into 2 musicals that departed radically from the text. We decided to do the text exactly as it was written. Not change any words, not leave anything out, not move things around, just trust it. But to perform it with characters.
Yes.
And what I realized was, even though it was written in the 20s, it was shockingly relevant.
Yeah.
It was sort of startling how you went, wow, that's kind of where a lot of us are now. And it sort of reminded me, in a highfalutin way, of The Crucible. When Arthur Miller wrote The Crucible, he wrote it to address McCarthyism, but he said it way back in the Salem witch hunts of the 1700s. So there's something about being able to see a reflection of yourself, but if it's safely somewhere else, one isn't so offended by it.
Right.
But these are people who their lives are hard, they struggle, they're on the outskirts of society, they're vaudevillians with various things that make them different.
Yes.
And they get together and they just want to escape life. And they escape life by drinking too much, by having a wild party, and by fighting with each other, and by listening to great music.
Yeah.
And we sort of were going, does this all sound a little bit familiar?
Truly. I do love what you've done to it with the music and the singing.
Yes.
It's because you don't think it's, and then you're, wow, they're singing. It's so great. It's not a musical, though.
No, it's not a musical.
Definitely not a musical.
It has live music. We have 2 jazz musicians. This time round, we have Jonathan Best, who's people might know from Prescott, wonderful musician, and Monica Shriver, who I believe you're going to hear
Yep,
later.
we'll see a little bit Monica later.
And what happens is the music sort of underscores it. It helps with movement through time and scenes. There are 2 songs written into it. Sweet Adeline, you know, that wonderful old, I'm not even going to try and sing it. And there was a song, there's an inherent song in the piece that Dino Palazzi, who's a composer in Prescott, wrote an original melody for.
How about that?
And then the opening sort of narrator, evil magician monologue, we decided to do as a song.
Ooh,
So
neat.
that is done. It begins, the gang was here when midnight came.
Ooh, see, doesn't that just sound scintillating? Truly, I have to say, in my own personal experience, one of the most scintillating pieces of theater I've ever seen. I really enjoyed it. I loved it, every second of it. I loved the way you, everything. I just loved it. So I recommend going and seeing it. Now, there's only 2 shows. So you got to get in there, and because it was sold out in Sedona, and it's in conjunction with the Made in Clarkdale Art Show, and it will be a show on December 11th.
Yeah, Thursday the 11th and Friday the 12th.
The 12th.
Beginning at 7:30. And there is a wine tasting prior to, and the musicians who are playing the show will be playing a set during the wine tasting.
Excellent.
So you can actually come, do the wine tasting, listen to the music, take a breath, and then watch
Excellent.
the wild party.
Now, how do they get tickets?
You get tickets by going to redearththeatre.org. And we have all the outlets. There's outlets here in Cottonwood.
Right.
There's outlets in Sedona. You can also get them online at a site called Showtix4, as in the letter 4, u.com. And just put in the Wild Party. You can buy them online.
Well, there we
You
go.
can get them at the door, but it is cheaper to get them in advance.
True, and you don't worry about getting them at the door. There won't be any at the door. It's going to be sold out. So go to redearththeatre.org. Check that out. You're absolutely going to want to see it. And go ahead and grab your tickets.
Yeah.
Kate Hawks, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the work that you do for the
thank
theater in the
you.
Verde Valley.
Thank you.
We really appreciate
And I want to
you.
encourage everyone to support the live arts, because if we want to keep the arts in our schools, if we want our children to grow up as people who have a cultural sensibility, we need to support what is right under our noses.
Yes.
And so check us out, and we are a non-profit, so you can make a tax-deductible donation.
Yes, you can.
To ensure we are here next year.
That is true. redearththeatre.org. Make sure you get there. And we'll be right back with lots more Verde Valley experience, so don't go away.
Headaches and back pain are 2 of the top reasons people choose Mosing Chiropractic. Dr. Mosing also treats symptoms of numbness and tingling, as well as those injured in auto or work accidents. Dr. Mosing uses gentle chiropractic techniques, as well as electric muscle stim and cold laser therapies. Call Dr. Mosing today at 634-0733. No spine left behind at Mosing Chiropractic.
When the city lights fade our lights get brighter. When your night needs life, ours comes alive. When you want to do something different, we say, come out and play. Come experience the new Mountain Springs Buffet. All you can eat starting at just $7.
Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, voted #1 casino in Arizona 15 years in a row.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. Now, we've got something really awesome for you here. So you might want to get your pen and paper again, so you don't want to write down some websites and stuff like that. So I'm here with Heather Noel. She is the creator of the Giving Game Foundation. She's brought along her lovely daughter, Amelia, and they're going to talk about this amazing transformative work. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Heather, please tell us, how did the Giving Game come about? It's such a massive thing. Tell me how it started.
Well, I have a CD. It's called How to Feel Better When Things Get Worse. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to find a way to really share it. And I just came up with this idea of creating a 60-day program, an e-course, that would go along with it. And the problem is not that it's not effective, because it's incredibly effective. It's just that people don't often do it long enough to have their mind change. So I should probably explain this one quick thing. So what it does is it teaches you how to create a new neural pathway in your brain, mm-hmm. because anything that does not work in your life is a pattern of thinking. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing. And so all the way back to childhood, it'll be the same pattern over and over. And so the easiest way to stop having these things happen to you, and literally your whole experiences start to change, mm-hmm. is to create a new pathway. And so it's just the same idea as a habit taking 30 days to create. Mm-hmm. So if you work with that process, and then you have a new set of mental habits, mm-hmm. but you have to do it every day. And so it seems to really help people to have an e-course that gets delivered each day. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that some people do is they start to gather in groups, and they'll have small groups of 8 people, and that's the best way to do it, if you can have a small group, because it's sort of like having an exercise buddy, you mm-hmm. know? You'll just sure. work out together, and you feel sure. guilty if you don't.
Right, yeah.
So that's how it works, and it's really simple. I'll give you just one example of a different way of thinking, that just this idea, anybody, if you took this home and worked with it, mm-hmm. it would change everything. And so this is one of the concepts. If you have a problem and there's something you can do about it, do it. But if there's nothing you can do about it in this moment, you tell yourself, this is none of my business, or I'm willing to let it go. Because in this moment, you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Because that is when people go over and over their problems, they just get more and more problems mm-hmm. all the time. So,
sure.
Yeah.
What you focus on is what you see.
Exactly.
So if you're focusing on your problems, all you're going to see is your problems. So the Giving Game, gorgeous website, thegivinggamefoundation.com. Check that out. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's laid out so beautifully. It's so user-friendly. What can you say to inspire someone to take charge and get started?
Well, one of the best things to do is go to the site, and at the top of the home page, there are a bunch of links. Also on the introduction page, there's a link to the testimonials, mm-hmm. and that's really, if you read the testimonials, truly, yes. It's like you go, wow, because everyone's like, my whole life changed. Right. And it does. It's that powerful. It's so simple, mm-hmm. and yet it's really powerful. So start with the testimonials, and then basically on the home page, there's a part called Play the Game, mm-hmm. and right at the very top is a link where you can listen, and I walk you through the whole thing. So it's really simple. You can't you can't miss it.
Certainly. It is. It's very nicely laid out. I mean, it sounds all, oh my God, neural pathways and oh my God. But really, it's just simple steps you can do to change your way of thinking, to change your experience, to help move your life along the direction that you want to go. The amazing thing is it's out there, it's public, it's free of charge. You've done this wonderful thing that is free of charge. Just, that is absolutely amazing to me. It's beautiful, and you can go through the program and all the way, and if you can become a mentor, and you can help other people do this wonderful, amazing program. And besides the fact the website is gorgeous, it's so visually stunning, just like you guys. It's just absolutely stunning, and truly, like you say, the testimonials, really, the wonderful, deep impression that it leaves on people, and how it moves their life forward in the direction that they want to go. Amelia, can you tell us a little bit about your experience? Do you have anything you want to say about the Giving Game?
Sure. I love it. I've grown up with this my entire life, so it's a total normal thing for me. But because I have done the Giving Game with my mom, like I've listened to it a whole bunch of times, about like, I've done like three of them.
Sure.
So I've gotten to hear how people change, and people really make an effort. They will make a change in their life, but if they do it and they don't really work with it, it's not going to help them if they don't really.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I'm always telling my daughter, half done is not done. Half is not good enough. It's just not. You do something halfway, it's nothing. You've got nothing. You have to do it full way, just with anything in your life. So just tell us more about the Giving Game.
Okay.
What else can you say? It's just it's so huge.
It is.
To fit it all in.
I know. It's like, just get it down to 8 minutes really quick. So, well, it's just that it's just getting into a new habit. And what's really interesting when you do it with other people is we've done it where you get on each week, and in the game itself, you can learn how to go in and get your own what do you call it? The conference call, the free conference call line. And so everyone calls in and you can record it. But what happens is in about 3 weeks, people's voices start to change, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
They just go, and you can hear it in their voice. You can hear it in the way they talk. You know, a lot of people will start off being in kind of like their victim story, my story about this and that, you know.
Sure.
And it all shifts in about 3 weeks. You'll start to see people really change, and then they also will start to talk about what works for them in the phone calls, and so everyone else will go, oh, I missed that, I'll go work on that.
Right.
So I don't know, really it is so experiential. That's the hardest thing about explaining it, is that there's, I mean, we could sit here and talk for a couple hours about it, but really I think what people will discover is that a lot of it's audio, and there's some really wonderful meditations that you do, and this is one thing I can absolutely guarantee. It is impossible to do this program without having positive change take place. You cannot do it. It doesn't fail. The only time it doesn't work is if people go, oh, I was too busy.
Right. Yeah,
I was just
because
too
it was
busy.
only half done, which is
And there you go.
enough.
Like half-baked cake.
Right.
It'd be terrible.
Yucky. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And the wonderful thing is it's online. So no matter where you are, no matter where you're viewing this show, if you're out in Ireland, you can still check out the GivingGameFoundation.com and get on there and look at all the wonderful things. It's for all the men and women who want to make a difference in the world and in your own lives. You know, take charge, get out there, feel better about yourself. There's so many wonderful links on this website. And did I mention it's free? Did I mention that? Which is, I'm still, thank you so much for doing this work. Thank you guys so much for being here, representing the Giving Game, and for putting out such an incredible site that is so life-changing for so many people. My heart just swells up. It's just so wonderful if just one person watching the show goes there and goes, wow, and is transformed. That's just fabulous. I bow to you. Oh, thank you. So check out the GivingGameFoundation.com. Please check out the GivingGameFoundation.com. Lots of good stuff for you there. Boy, just who doesn't want to feel better? I know, can't go wrong there. So Heather Noel, thank you so much. Amelia, thank you so much for being here, representing the Giving Game. I appreciate your testimonial there. And we'll be right back with more Verde Valley Experience, so don't go away.
Every day across America,
excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
When the city lights fade, our lights get brighter. When your night needs life, ours comes alive. When you want to do something different, we say, come out and play. Come experience the new Mountain Springs Buffet. All you can eat starting at just $7.
Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, voted #1 casino in Arizona 15 years in a row.
At Gettle's High Desert Mechanical, rather than do lots of things, we focus on doing one thing right. We serve climate-challenged people. Gettle's starts with a free system evaluation to identify the best AC and heating equipment for your home or business. Professional installation, warranties, and service after the sale. If you're climate challenged, then we're the right choice. Gettle's High Desert Mechanical, the name to trust.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. I'm now here with Mark Round, who is the organizer for Sedona and the Surrealist Art Show, which is really, really cool. When modern art met the Red Rocks. I love that. And that is actually going on right now in Uptown Sedona. Mark, thank you for joining us today.
Sure.
Truly a fascinating time in art, as always.
Well, you know, there's actually an active story in art right now which has Sedona at the center of it, which many people don't know. For example, here's a book that just came out in March in Germany, and it's called Vox Angelica, Surrealism in America. And on the cover of that is a Max Ernst painting, which may have been one of his first paintings in Sedona in 1943. And it's an untold story about Max's story in particular, but also Dorothea Tanning's. When Max was trying to escape the Nazis in Germany, Max was a founder of the Dadaist movement in Germany, in Cologne, and he was a founder of the Surrealism movement in Paris. Many people don't know that Hitler was an artist. Hitler had been turned down for art school. He didn't have very fond feelings for modern artists, so he went about burning paintings of modern artists and putting modern artists in concentration camps. So Max had been featured in Hitler's Degenerate Art Show in 1937, and he'd been in concentration camps twice. And so the third time he was about to be interned, as they called it, it was actually in France, Max was able to escape the Gestapo with the help of his son petitioning from New York, who had already gotten out, and the financial support of Peggy Guggenheim. And so Max was able to escape to New York in July of 1941, and lo and behold, about 2 months later, he's driving through Arizona for the first time. So that was his exposure to the Southwest, and it was quite the eye-opening experience for Max, because he'd actually been painting paintings very visually reminiscent of Sedona without knowing Sedona existed. So at any rate, Max returned to New York and found himself really at the center of the modern art movement in New York. The New York School was forming at that time, and Max actually married Peggy Guggenheim, and the emerging modern artists that are all very familiar now, like Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko, Robert Motherwell, de Kooning, they were all showing in Peggy's gallery with Max and the other surrealists that had escaped from Paris. So they knew each other. And there's an interesting story that Robert Motherwell tells in a book that Max actually wrote in Sedona called Beyond Painting. It was a treatise on painting. He wrote it when he finally moved here. And Robert Motherwell tells a story of an art demonstration that Max was doing in a bookstore in New York. And he got out a bucket of paint, he drilled a hole in the bottom, tied a string, put canvas on the floor, filled it with paint, and he's swinging the bucket around. and creating a drip painting.
Huh.
And lo and behold, who's in the audience watching this technique is Jackson Pollock, who made drip painting famous. And it was really, according to de Kooning, the breakthrough of the abstract movement in America was drip painting. So at any rate, there was Max teaching one of his, I think he invented something on the order of 20 or 25 painting techniques.
Yeah. Yes.
And so at any
It's
rate,
amazing.
that was a pretty pivotal moment. But Peggy Guggenheim asked Max to help curate a show in New York in late 1942. And she made the mistake of sending Max around to all the women artists studios. And it was called 30 Women Artists.
Oh,
and
dear.
She said, I made the worst mistake of expanding it to 31 women artists because I think the last artist that he went to go see was Dorothea Tanning.
Yep,
And
stole his
so
heart.
He walks in, sees the self-portrait on the easel, and asks, what's the title of it? She goes, well, it's not titled yet. He goes, well, then call it Birthday. And that painting actually really defined her career from that point forward. And he left Peggy that night.
Wow.
So, and it was, I think 4 months later that they were both in Sedona on the banks of Oak Creek. They were staying in a little guest ranch that was owned and operated by Lillian Wilhelm Smith, who had been Zane Grey's illustrator. And they were there for a much longer period of time than people realize. They were there for about 6 months. And many major paintings were painted right in that 6-month period, including this particular one. So,
yeah.
Another one of his paintings that he painted in that era is actually being featured in a major show in Berlin right now. It's called Paintings for Young People. So the point is, it's just an ongoing story being told in the art world today, which many people in the region here know next to nothing about.
Right, and you can look on the internet, you can Google. Google Max Ernst, and you will find out so much information. He was such a vivacious person, married 4 times. I mean, lots of interesting, juicy stuff in there if you're interested in that. And then just the art. I mean, so influential in so many movements in art, in the modern art movement in America. It's just, we can thank him for all of that amazing stuff. I mean, you can see pictures of his work, and you've got a show that's happening now. Tell us about the show that you've got going on in Uptown.
Well, I've collected a few things, partly to teach the art history visually so that you can see some of the artwork that they actually did while they were in Sedona. Beyond doing paintings, small and very large-scale paintings, they also did a lot of print work. So there are lithographs and etchings, and here's an example. I'm not sure which way to hold this.
Right in front.
Okay. But at any rate, this is actually a small lithograph that is from a series that Max became famous for in Life magazine in 1952. Life magazine came to Sedona and did a story on Max and Dorothea and their home on Brewer Road. And some of the first artwork that they did when they moved to Sedona in 1946 and built a house were what he called microbes. And this is actual size reprint of the little painting. And
It's beautiful.
so
It's written in French.
Yes, he put some prose around it, and I think one of his friends thought, well, Max was very happy to be doing artwork that he could either stick in his pocket or mail to New York to show. But Max's take on it is that they were too powerful to be big. So at any rate, you can see this is kind of a typical Verde Valley
it's beautiful.
landscape.
It's beautiful. Thank you. That's about the only piece you could bring in because of the size.
Right.
So that's really wonderful. It is really so cute. But everything else is much larger, so don't be fooled. This is not a whole show about these little micros. There's all kinds of great stuff. And that show will be going on. It's already going. Started on December 2nd. To be going till the 31st, and that's located at Thea's in Uptown Sedona on Cedar and Apple. So you got to check that out. The show Sedona and the Realist, when modern art met the red Surrealist. Yes. That's totally different. Boy, I'm off my game.
Opening tonight.
Sedona and the Surrealist. You got to check it out. When modern art met the red rocks. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing for the arts in Verde Valley. For sure, bringing this education to us.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. Keep it up. And we'll be right back with lots more of the Verde Valley Experience, so don't go away.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Get your ass out. You're not sitting here. Yes, I am. Move. Off here. Give it to him hard.
No. Ow.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We're now here at the Sedona Public Library on White Bear Road in Sedona. And I'm here with Virginia Volkman, who is the library director. Thank you so much for being
it's
here.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
And congratulations on your excellent rating, the star rating by Library Magazine. That is so cool. Now tell us, how did you get this rating? Which I hear it's all Virginia's fault.
It's all my work,
oh,
yes.
Absolutely.
Well, it's Library Journal each year decides which libraries have statistically performed really well, and it's based on the number of items that are checked out to patrons as they come into the library and as they leave with stacks and stacks of materials, and the number of people who attend our programs, the number of people who actually come in and out of the building, no matter what service they're using, whether they're using our computers, whether they're coming for a program, whether they're checking materials out. So just people who come in and out to use the library. And then the fourth thing is, let me see, circulation. Computer use is one of them. And we do have a number of computers for the public to use. We have 30-some computers in our adult services area. And people come in and they sign up for a computer and they use it for an hour, 2 hours, and they write resumes, they check their email, they create documents. So the library computers are used really well. And the thing that really stood out, I think, for us is that not just one of those items was performing well, not one of those areas where you measure library use, but all of them were. So we hit it in all 4 marks where we are doing outstanding service in terms of all the other libraries in the United States. So it wasn't just a local star that we got, it was as compared to libraries throughout the country. So it was a real national award for us, and it's the first time we've gotten a star.
That's
so
great.
It was a really nice thing for us and a real honor for the community because it's such a community library.
That's true.
That's a response to the funding and the support and also the use of the library.
Outstanding is an excellent word in reference to the Sedona Public Library. The amount of reference materials alone in here is mind-boggling, and then if you don't have it, you can get it.
And like we're the window to the whole world. If someone comes to our library, and we welcome people from literally all over the world. We have people who use the library locally from throughout Yavapai and Coconino County, but also visitors who are visiting Sedona and need a computer, or they're just looking for a quiet place to use their own computer, or they want to check something out. So we not only have people come into the library, but once people are using the library, they have access to 2 million items in the Yavapai network. And then we also do national interlibrary loan, where we can find something in an obscure university library or a public library anywhere in the country. So we bring things in for people from all over the place.
Truly. And we're sitting now in the children's room, and there are wonderful things set up everywhere to spark child's creativity, and of course the books. But not only do you guys have books, and I'm not just speaking about children's here, but you have music, you have movies, videos, learn a new language. That is all available all the time.
Right. DVDs, with communities having fewer and fewer access points to rent a DVD anymore, people come in and they use our extensive array of different DVDs on all sorts of subjects, entertainment as well as instructional. But as you say, music CDs, the DVDs, books in so many different formats. We even loan out Nooks. If people want to read something on an e-reader, we have the Nooks for them to borrow that are preloaded with items. But also we have all those things that are available online. So people, as you say, people can take a course. They can learn a new language through Mango Languages. They can have a one-on-one tutoring experience through tutor.com. All sorts of materials that are available on different databases, whether it be consumer information, legal help, just magazines, the latest issue of a magazine. So yeah, we have all different formats and all different ways you can use the library and use our resources.
That's true. And besides all that, but wait, there's more. There's movie night on Monday nights at 6. There's a movie shown here every week, which is amazing. And then you also do movies in the summer for the children who are out of school. You have Coffee with a Vet once a week. You do all kinds of wonderful programs to get the community together.
That's one of the things that we're really very proud of, is our involvement with other community organizations. Coffee with a Vet is something that is sponsored by the Veterans History Project, and we have the recording of veteran stories through the Veterans History Project, and that's something we work on with the local volunteers. And we have the archaeology group, we have the camera club, we have Audubon Society, so many different groups that meet here and we collaborate with on programs. So there's always something happening. Today we have a blood drive that we're co-sponsoring with the Rotary Club. So the Red Cross is here, and then we have health screenings that we put on. So really a lot of different things.
Something going on. It's all listed online, sedonalibrary.org. You can check that out. It's going to have all their schedules on it, what's going on. You can go to specific sections, whether it be the children's sections or the movie section, or I love it, you can do your learner's permit course. You can test out on that before you actually go to the DMV and do it. I mean, there's so many different wonderful things, babysitting courses. It's really an amazing community place to come here and be at the Sedona Library. So make sure you go to sedonalibrary.org. Check that out online. Wonderful staff, by the way.
Thank you.
The most friendly people ever. If you need something, they got it covered. I love the reference desk. The ladies there are so helpful. Virginia, thank you so much for being
you. It's
here
been a pleasure.
and talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your star rating. That's really awesome. Virginia Volkman, the library director over here at the Sedona Public Library. And don't go away, because we'll be right back.
else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
That was so lovely. Thank you so much. Monica Schreiber, everyone. That was a nice, soulful tune. You don't think of the flute as soulful.
It's one of my favorite ballads. It's entitled But Beautiful by Jimmy Van Heusen.
Oh, perfect name for it, because it was a beautiful song. Thank you so much for playing that.
Sure.
Now, Monica, you are so much more than a musician. We can only touch on so many things, but you do so much, and you're so accomplished, and you're so young. How did you do all this so quickly?
I just, one day at a time, you know, you just keep trying. And
that's pretty amazing.
I get this crazy idea that I want to do something, and I just try it.
Fabulous. There we go. We should all be that way. Now, you lead two of your own groups. You've got the Monica Schreiber Jazz Project, and you also have the Doublers What's that called?
Doublers
the Doublers Collective? What is that?
I had this crazy idea that I wanted to put together an ensemble, and it's a 5-piece saxophone ensemble made up of all doublers. So we all play flute and clarinet and different variations. So there's 24 woodwind instruments between the 5 of us.
Wow.
And we have a rhythm section. And so we play pretty much jazz on all sorts of instruments.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Tons of fun.
You play all sorts of instruments.
Yes. Yeah, in that group I play 8 different instruments.
8.
Yep.
That's amazing. And all the instruments that I can't play at all. So
lots of practicing.
I bet. And you write your own music.
A little bit, yeah. I write my own jazz tunes and I'm working on doing some arrangements for Doublers Collective.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, how did you pick jazz?
I would say it kind of found me. I always loved jazz. I grew up listening to jazz and playing in jazz bands as a kid, but I didn't really realize that it was a profession until relatively recently. Within the last few years, it kind of dawned on me that I was a jazz musician. And then I embraced it wholeheartedly.
Nice. You woke up one day, you were a jazz musician.
Kind of, yeah. It was a little more philosophical than that, but yeah, essentially.
That's fantastic. Not only that are you a jazz musician, you're also a clinician, a teaching artist, and you serve as the saxophone professor at Phoenix College. That's really cool. How do you have time for all that? And then 2 groups, and then 8 instruments, and
my boyfriend says I work all the time.
Yeah, they always say that.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of time, but I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. It's so much fun. So I don't really even notice that it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I see that. You know when you're doing something right when it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, something my mother told me a long time ago. If there's something you're willing to do for free, get paid to do that and do it for work.
Yes, there you go.
And it proves that well, and I can see that in you. And you're going to be doing some music for the Red Earth Theater's production of The Wild Party, which is happening on the 11th and 12th. So you can see Monica on the 11th and 12th at the Made in Clarkdale art show in conjunction with The Wild Party.
I'm very excited to be a part of it.
That is really neat. Have you done music for live theater before?
Yes, I've done lots and lots of theater stuff.
Wow.
Yep.
That's impressive.
So, but this one's a little unique. I think it's going to be a little bit different from some of the stuff that I've done. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how you add to that. That's really cool because I saw it last time. I'm going to see it again. So that's wonderful. And you're going to be working with Jonathan.
Yep.
As well, who's going to be on the show a few shows from now. We've got him already lined up. So you can see both of them. A sneak preview of Jonathan. You can see Monica again going to the Wild Party. That's really awesome. And you've got a blog, Saximony.
I do. Yes.
Yes, that's awesome. Saximony.com, and that's with a Y, which is very important. Sexy Y, Moni with an I. It's a blog about being a jazz musician, your journey.
Yeah, I kind of talk about the things that I learn along the way. I try and use it kind of as an education blog to share with people out, in the world about the stuff that I've learned. Some of it is anecdotal, some of it is educational, and it's good. It's good to embrace and kind of let it all out into the world.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And your next piece you're going to play is on the saxophone.
Yeah, I'm going to do a blues tune, one of my favorite blues by Thelonious Monk entitled Blue Monk.
Excellent. I love Thelonious Monk. That's really great. So you can check out Monica at monicashriver.com. Beautiful website, lots of great pictures. It's really, really lovely. There's all kinds of good stuff on the internet. You know somebody's good when you type their name in and it's like pages of stuff on the internet? Well, that could go both ways. But in this case, it's really, really good. So check out monicashriver.com. Make sure you check out Saximony. .com. That's her blog there. And
doublerscollective.com as well.
Wow. So much going on in one small person. That is totally amazing. And thank you guys so much for watching the Verde Valley Experience. Really appreciate it. You can check us out at verdevalleytv.com. If you missed anything, we got it all there and also on YouTube. So we'll see you next time.